What is up, guys? Welcome to Truth and Transparency. Thank you, Drelatina. I just saw that. Um, where is it? There it is. Hi, folks. A good wine mellows with time. And I may run behind, but a fine wine is worth the wait. Um, yeah, sorry. Never my intention. Never my intention. Always good intentions here. Again, welcome to Truth and Transparency. Again, thank you, moderators, for being here, subscribers, members. This one's for you as far as what questions you may have of anything that like I've presented, put up. Also, let's see. I have a couple other things I want to show you. I'll do that throughout. So again, hopefully everybody's doing well. We did get some new documents. I can definitely touch on those as well. I am going to feature my first caller here. I think you guys know her. Kim. WSU mom, Kim. So let's see this. Hopefully Kim is taking a bubble bath. Hello, is this Kim?
It is Kim. Wasn't on Kim, right? That is who I am forever and ever.
Oh, I always say WSU. So you go with Wazoo?
I'll go with whatever. You know what I mean? As long as you're attaching it and everybody can identify, sure, why not? I mean, that is who I have become.
Oh, okay. Hey, okay. Do you remember the one time that I had you on, or maybe it was a scheduled live with like Daniel, when I was like, okay, I have a game of 20 questions and to ask you.
Yes, I do. I loved it.
Okay, cool.
Are we going to play again? That was a great game.
Well, no, I only like it because I made you like say like, no, Kim, all you can give is one answer. All you can do is one answer.
You might as well put a blindfold on me, tie my hands behind my back, and push me into the woods. Because I can't give one answer, like one word. That's very difficult for me.
Yeah. Hold on one second here.
Okay.
I'm trying to make sure all the volume is up and everything like that.
Can you hear me okay? If you can't hear me, let me know. I'll move around because I'm not in like good range area.
I think it should be fine here. I just want to change a couple things with my own personal on my end. Let me just try something here. So I don't know if you've caught any of my lives lately.
I don't miss one, and if I miss it, I catch up on it.
Oh, you do? I feel special then.
You're my girl. No, I feel special because you call me, because you know my number, so I feel special.
I'll just blow you up.
Yeah, right. You call me whatever. Yeah, I do. I'm like, I know her number. She knows mine.
All right, yeah. Here we go. Okay, loud and clear. All right, good. Well, cheers to your Tuesday. So we're gonna do 20 questions, but how we're gonna do this is I'm gonna pick in the crowd when I come across you guys on my end. Sometimes the comments don't come up like. I don't know if YouTube's just been acting silly crazy. I don't know. But when I snag and I see a question and I think it's, legit, I'm going to go ahead and click it, put it up there. And Drelatin, it says, poor Kim was emotionally reamed last night on another channel by another creator. I extended my support. I hope she feels better. Dude, what are you doing? Causing like, that was Drelatina. Thank you so much. Drelatina. So,
I was emotionally, and like it's hard for me to get that way. I feel like I'm emotional. I'm a mom or whatever, but I am also a business person, and so I have this fine line. But if you cross it, I'm coming at you and I'm going to drive it home. And I did. And I will tell you this, in Daniel's defense, yes, he disappointed me a lot. He really disappointed me in a lot of areas.
Well, we'll get away from that because I don't really want to talk about other people.
But I do want to just say what he did do is that at the end of the day, when afterwards, after he got off the show, he did message me, text me, and he did apologize, and he was kind and he was gracious, and everybody, we're not perfect people. So I just want everybody to know out there, yeah, we went to the mat, but yeah, he came and he was, he was a gentleman and he was kind. So I just want everybody to know that about him.
Oh, look at you. I don't even know. I didn't watch it. But somebody
I did send you a text halfway through.
Somebody texted me and was like, I don't know what's going on, but I think him and Daniel are fighting like they are fighting over child support. And I said, what? Child support? I was like, and I just go to bed,
And you do. Good for you, though.
Because
you know when you go to bed. I should have gone to bed.
Yeah.
I ignored it, but I didn't. So I just want everybody to know we have made. You know what? You know what?
Oh, here you go. Here's a question for you. Who's Kelly? They were in chat last night. That's
gosh.
Okay.
Shall we?
It's just she's from Watts, The Obsession, but we're not going to be talking about other people's channels.
No.
We're not going to be talking about other people. So that's just who that is, though. Right. Kelly has a channel. It's called What's the Obsession. So, all right. So here we go. I'll kick things off. Again, I'm trying to take a look in chat so I can get it. Did Kim say there was a shakedown on that night? The word shakedown, did that come from, is that your verbiage? Is that somebody else's verbiage?
Okay, so sure, that's a good question. So is that the verbiage that was handed to me from the students? No, it's just what I applied that verbiage to what they were describing to me. To me, when somebody's going in to scare them, to make them not talk, to tell them not to talk, that to me, the verbiage is a shakedown. But what their verbiage was, they were just trying to scare them. They were just trying to make sure they didn't talk. It wasn't meant to be anybody was going to die. It was just a warning. It was snitches get stitches. That's what it was.
Okay. Perfect. Question for you here. Something I'm going to be touching base on here over the next couple days is more of the timeline with just in general of 2019 to 2000 and to present day, or at least to November 2022, because that's when the kids went to college. COVID was in 2019 in March. So when they're starting in September of 2019, that was after, COVID. And a lot of things changed because of COVID people were like, colleges were like, yeah, you can do stuff remotely. You can be doing stuff online. So from my understanding is they went into the school year in 2019 right after 2020.
Uh-huh.
So they had one school year of without COVID, and then it happened in March of 2020.
No, 2019. So no, so PC19, which would be Peyton and the and Kaylee's class, they didn't do a full year. They went the first semester, then March hit with COVID, and they came home for spring break and never went back. At least that was it. Now, I don't know if that occurred at U of I, but they didn't go back for the remainder of the school year. We had to go back in May. They each had a time to go back to the sorority house and pick up their belongings and take their but they had to come individually to the house and do that. And that also changed the construction or the setup for at least Washington State University of whether or not and who had to live in each house, right? There were rules where you had to live for 2 years in the house, but those changed with the COVID kids. They're referred to as the COVID kids, right? The COVID years. So that's why so my daughter did go back the following August, and we just paid for her to go remotely and live off campus. We just, that's what she wanted to do, so we did it.
Yeah. Okay, so your daughter went through one of the years though when it was COVID.
She went for 1 year. Yeah, she went the second year with COVID.
Okay, perfect. That's just what I want.
Allowed to return there.
Okay, cool. Latina has a question for you. Does Kim think U of I has shut down the students from speaking out about the case?
Do I think U of I has? I think that the Greek Row has.
Greek Row, okay.
I don't know if U of I has, but I do believe that Greek Row has.
Okay. Now, I know that when we had talked, I was really adamant of like, okay, I want to see that you called the police or that you called the FBI. I hate to do this, but you can redact your whatever you want on your phone records. But I'm going to need you to send me your phone records to show me the dates and timestamps that you made those phone calls to the FBI and to the Moscow Police Department. And you did that. You sent them on over.
Oh yeah, I did. I thought you were asking from fresh.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I did. I sent it. I didn't redact it either. I don't need to redact it from you. I know you're not going to share it with the world. And if somebody wants to make a phone call, I'll just change my number.
There you go.
Whatever.
And you did like so. Did you call into the tip line? Like, was it through the tip line? Mm-hmm. So, like, would you be one of the 17,000 tips? Do you think that you're one of the 17,000 tips?
I would be one of the 17,000 tips, but that's not where I stopped because I knew. So originally, I figured out I was calling in and being put to the tip line. So I'm like, dude, I don't want your tip line. I want you to talk to somebody outside the tip line because this is a timing thing and this matters. And so. I have called into the tip line directly, and I've called a plethora of other numbers until I started to call Monica, which is actually where I call now.
Okay, so now I
haven't called in a while.
Yeah, but back when this was all going on.
Back then, 100%, right. Yeah,
100%. Neighborhood wants you to know that Moscow Mom Kim, WSU Kim, thanks for being a good mom and a good citizen.
Oh, thank you. It's nice to hear it. You know, you say you don't need to, but sometimes you kind of need to. So I appreciate hearing that. Thank you very much.
So when you called them, you talked to them, they called you back, or would you just keep?
So I would call and stay on hold for as long as I possibly could to get a human body or a voice or somebody. And I always got somebody, and they would always take my information. And I did get phone calls back. I did get phone calls back, and then eventually we were given an Idaho State patrolman who would call and contact us, and that was my contact after that.
Okay, and your information had a lot to do with stuff that had to do with your kids that went to school there. With what occurred the night before. So with what happened, it's more my daughter than my son because my son he's an athlete, right? So it's different than Greek. But so with her, she knew, and that just didn't, none of it added up. So then I started calling, and then I discovered an alibi situation and called that, which was directly my daughter had direct knowledge about. And I did too because I was there and didn't see the person. So that was firsthand information that I felt like it was necessary and important to give to them. And I did. And that had to do with the alibi.
The alibi, yeah.
Okay, is that something that you can?
I can tell you.
Okay, so yeah, because that's what I wanted to break down. I wanted to break down.
Yeah. Sure, I have no problem sharing that.
Okay.
Because at this point, I have no problem. here's the thing. I don't know what Brian did, or if he did anything, or if he didn't do anything. I don't know. But I do know that nothing's adding up still. So I have no problem sharing everything. So my belief is that the alibi, Jack DeCour's alibi, was at, said he was at my daughter's house, and I never saw him. And he wasn't there.
Wait,
So,
you're saying that Jack DeCour said that.
So apparently, I was told that, and I don't even know why I was told that one of Jack DeCour's friends, who I believe was an alibi, was staying at my daughter's house. So the information came from my daughter's sorority sister, who's dating somebody from U of I. I was told that he stayed there. Then I discovered he didn't stay there, and I discovered that because I never saw him. And so I kept asking, did you see him? No, I didn't see him. How do you know? I just, no, they just said. And here's the thing. It's like when
so who didn't they see? You didn't see.
I never saw him there.
Who? Who?
I did not see either of them at the house.
Who's either of them?
I did not see the U of I student or my daughter's sorority sister all weekend, and it was parents' weekend. We were there all weekend, so all the rooms were full with parents and siblings or whatever. So it didn't make sense. It wasn't like.
And the University of Idaho student is a male.
He's a male. He's a football player.
Okay.
So he's not great, but he's a football player. And and I don't know at Wazoo, I know you have a social path to go and party and play.
Yeah, I don't care about any of that. So you didn't see the U of I male, nor did you see the female that he dated.
I did not. No.
Okay. So, and this is
important. That struck me as really odd.
Okay, I was gonna say, and this is important because
it struck me as really odd that the female, had the information, and my daughter was giving the information at 10 o'clock in the morning, and the police weren't.
So you were like, "How did you get this? She wasn't even there. How would she know this?"
Right. That was the conversation. Right.
It's like, how did this person inform your daughter? That's what you were basically saying. Like, well, how are you getting this information? And then she said this person, right?
Right.
And you're like, well, I didn't even see that person there when I was there for not Mother's Weekend, but a Parents' Weekend.
Right.
And so,
what are you talking about?
This person, yeah.
What are you talking about? It's like, what? And I would have, because she's somebody I know. I've known her for many years. I mean, she goes to school with my kid. They're good friends. And she actually doesn't even live in the area now. She's in a different program that's out of the area. So when there's an event like Parents' Weekend, she'll stay at my daughter's, or would stay at my daughter's.
Okay, that's good. That's perfectly fine. Moving on. Now, then it came out that she knew this because the U of I student that's a male.
Mm-hmm.
He was at Jack D's playing video games.
Yeah. Now, I want you to take this all with a grain of salt.
Now, and this is just so everybody understands this. Jack D lived at the corner house that was the party house. It had like the noise complaints, and it had like the couch on the roof.
Right.
Okay, just so people can understand.
Yes, that's right. That's correct.
So this kid was over there playing video games, and he didn't spend the night.
He apparently, according to my child, he was at her house.
According to your child, he then came.
Yeah. See, there's a whole lot of that.
So according to your child, he was actually at her house.
Correct.
He wasn't there.
He wasn't there.
And so then the girl, though, says that she got the information from. So that does that. But I thought that Adam was the one that was playing the video games and was.
Supposedly. Yeah. Right. So Adam was playing the video game with, I'm assuming, because that whole story was that Schuster gave as an alibi for Adam and Jack was that, but my daughter swears he was at her house. No, I'm telling you, I didn't see him. So she might have been told he was there, or told to say he was. I don't know. I don't know, and I don't think she really knows. And when Dave said,
"How big's your daughter's house?"
Well, it's a 6. So there's six rooms. So 2 down, 2 and 4 up, like 2 and 2 up, with each has their own kitchen. So it's not huge. It's it's just like Kaylee's house is far bigger, I would say.
It may look big, but square footage wise, it's really not.
Yeah, right. I know, because it's all cut up. It's kind of a cut up little mess.
Okay, so I know that we've talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
When Kaylee and Maddie got dropped off at 1:56, okay, the shotgunning of calls does not happen until 2:26 to then 2:52 a.m. Okay,
right.
And I've always wondered why, and I just want to hear what you guys think. There is no right or wrong. I'm just curious. Why did the phone calls to Jack D not start until 2:50 or 2:26 when they were home by 1:56? So it's 30 minutes that would go by until the shotgunning of calls. You get what I'm saying? Like, if you're home at 1:56,
right.
then Jack D lives just right across the way. There's always the option to walk over there. Okay. So, and here you have 30 minutes. So they get home. What's going on in those 30 minutes that, okay, now the shotgunning of calls happens at the 2:26 to the 2:52, and both Maddie and Kaylee, boom, their calls, no, there's no more phone usage for either one of them at the same time of 2:52. What is up there? There you go. What is up there? The CJ show there. Just super sticker there. There's your boy throwing you some love.
There's my boy. Yes, I will tell you, he's a good man. He's a very good person. I hijacked the show up and it felt terrible.
Okay. Yes, thank you guys all. Thank you and welcome. So curious, who was at whose house? At her daughter's house was her daughter saying that that's where the U of I student that was the football player that was allegedly playing video games at Jack D's house where Adam lived, where multiple people lived. You know, I have all these body cams, and not one body cam, I go through them, and I can't find Adam nor Jack D in any of these body cams. And yet that house is just always pumping out these parties, you know?
Right. Right.
So
why weren't they there ever? You know,
whatever. This is not new information. The thing is that I'm breaking down stuff because Kim talks so quick and she's going on and on. And I'm like, wait. I'm going to break this all down because she's been saying this for a while. And what nobody's understanding is that the alibi that she, busted up, I guess, with the Idaho State Police at one point was that there's some alibis that weren't panning out. And And these being one of those. So it is possible though that if you play video games all night and you're like, oh my God, it's 7:30 in the morning, I'm going to head on home. You know, I'm going to head on home, meaning AKA to go to where your daughter lives.
Correct.
Okay.
That's always, yeah, anything is possible, right?
And then, but you're saying that you, the whole time you were there during Parents Weekend, you never saw this kid.
I never saw this kid, no, ever. I didn't even see her ever.
Okay.
So that's, you know, obviously, because if people died and it's not adding up, it needs to work. It needs to work out, you know?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's okay. So let's go back to this, guys, which is, you have Murphy. Okay. Murphy was there. All right. Murphy has to be let out, I believe. And when you would get home, you would let Murphy out. You could possibly walk Murphy to like get Murphy to go potty and poop and whatever. Or you could put Murphy on a chain if there's a chain out there, because that is not all fenced in. So you can't just like let the dog go out. It's not fenced in. But when Kaylee and Maddie would get home, what did Kaylee and Maddie do for the 30 minutes until it got into, you know, boom, 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 blowing up Jack D? We know phone calls come with text messages, guys. There's no way that Kaylee's just calling Jack D and not texting. Okay. So something that I always thought is, we have this photo. It's a still photo of Kaylee at the corner club. Maddie's right there, and they're talking to a gentleman. And when this all first came out, the Gonsalveses, they were hesitant to speak on it. Like, is this Jack D? Is it not Jack D? And when we finally get to, you know, further down the road, it would come out that the G's, Mr. and Mrs. G's, they questioned the timestamp. They questioned the timestamp of that picture, that still image from the corner club. And in the interview, it said, hey, you know, the week before was daylight savings, so maybe the time didn't get, you know, and that would be alluding to the fact if you think that this is 1 hour difference, you know, it's not like it would be like, oh, it's off 15 minutes because it's daylight savings time. No, it would, when you're going to think like that and you're going to correlate something like that, you're going to look at the whole hour, that's where it's off. So with that still image, remember the girls wanted to go to another bar, and he didn't. He wanted to go home because he was tired, because he had worked that day. But something didn't add up with them when they said, okay, that still image doesn't match. And then they were like, the grub truck, like something's off with that. They feel like something's off. You know, we're going to get that. So we're going to get to that point of it. But I remember vividly that Kaylee's sister wouldn't come out and say that that was Jack D. Okay. Meaning this. If I come home and I live basically a stone throw away from the person that I've dated my whole like college career, you know, at the end of my high school career, you would in a sense call us high school sweethearts, college sweethearts, whatever. And I know what that person drives. I know what kind of car they drive. They know what kind of car I drive. If I come home, we eat our food at the same time. Okay, we're going to take, Murphy out. Did they walk Murphy? Did they go and then walk over to where Jack D's at and say, oh, well, Jack said he was coming home. Okay. He didn't want to go anywhere else. but here his vehicle's not here, or, you know, he told us he was coming home to go to sleep, you know, blah, blah. Did something like that occur where, well, what the heck? He said he was coming home and he's not, you know, his car's not here, whatever. Because I guess the part for me is, if I would just go over there. And again, maybe that's just me, but if I wanted to, if I wanted them to come over my place or me to go there, but why the 30-minute gappage? What was going on for those 30 minutes that there was that gappage time? And then all these calls are made, and then okay, now Maddie's phone starts, you know, with the phone calls, with a couple phone calls over to Jack's phone. It's like, well, he's not answering me. Well, was he answering any of the text messages? You know, when you're calling like that in that 30-minute period from 2:26 to 2:52, you know damn well someone's calling like that. They're texting. Was he texting back? You know? But I'm over here thinking, he lives right there. I would just go knock on the door. I would go ring the doorbell, you know? So I'm just curious, if someone's going to be, you know, doing all that, why not just go over there? I mean, would you?
Yeah, I go there. Why is the dog not at the pound? Why was the dog at the pound?
Well, we'll get to that.
Lost the dog.
We'll get to that. Okay. We've seen the grub truck video, right?
Right.
We see Kaylee on her phone the whole time, pretty much. I mean,
right.
But guess who's not on their phone at all?
Maddie.
Maddie's not on her phone at all. Like, that's actually pretty. Did Maddie have her phone? Did she have her phone? But you don't really see Maddie on her phone at all, which is actually pretty it's interesting, because kids like myself, or even adults, like, we're always on our phone. And here she wasn't.
They are attached to them. They're like insanely attached to them, right? It's a rule not to have your phone at the dinner table, actually, right? People are on their phone. Yeah, that's weird. I don't know why. And other than the fact that she, you know, had a good time, and no shame in that game. We all have. She had a good time. Good for her. I'm glad.
That's not about. Yeah, they should definitely have a fun time.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, I was surprised. That. You know, you don't see Maddie on her phone, you know, at all, though.
Right. The whole time, actually, right?
Yeah, you don't see. Yeah, you don't see it. But then you get back to the house, and in the midst of the 2:26 to the 2:52, then Maddie decides to call Jack, you know, a couple times.
Right.
And then boom, nothing else from either one of those phones beginning at 2:52 a.m. Like, you're going to sit here and tell me that both of those girls went to sleep at the same exact time?
No, they were gone by then.
I don't believe that.
I can't convince you. Do you think they were still alive?
No, I'm saying I don't believe that two girls fell asleep at the same time.
No, I don't.
At 2:52, and you know, also this. Where were their phones? I think that's going to be. You know, where were their phones? Were they plugged in?
Where were their phones found at?
Where were they found?
Actually, they had never said that. Where were their phones? That would be my first question. Where was her phone? Because it's attached to her hip. It's like I gave birth to the phone and the child, honestly. So where's her phone? Where was it? That's actually a super important question, Lana. There you go, Mom. There we go. There you go. It just gave food for thought. Honestly, where was her phone? Where did they find their phone? Did they even find their phone?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, yeah, according.
Well, you gotta believe them. And I'm sorry, I don't feel any shame in my game by saying I don't. I love law enforcement, and I believe in funding them and all of the above, but I do not believe them in this situation whatsoever. And that's firsthand knowledge of putting kids to school there.
Nobody,
no apologies for that.
Nobody's saying anything about BK. Nobody knows BK. No one's seen BK. Have you asked, does anybody know BK on your end?
No, nobody does. Even my son, who is a pre-law student, didn't know him, and he was in classroom 12. And Will was in 13. Oh, there it goes his name. Darn it. God. Nobody can trust me with information that I won't flip up on, because I promise I will, and I'm sorry. It's not intentional. He was in class. So Koberger was in room 12 and Mike was in 13. And he didn't know who he was.
Oh, you mean for like you're talking about at WSU, yeah. His TA is
he was,
that office?
Where he was a TA, a teacher, where his office was. And and my kid's he's not even.
What's up, Diego?
He's a fresher. He's going to be lucky to graduate. It's going to be a break.
Diego says, thanks, Kim, for bringing this out. Diego giving you a shout out there.
I love him. Thank you, Diego. He is a gentleman and a kind man, and I'm so appreciative of most of you people on YouTube. I will promise you that. I really am.
So yeah, nobody knows BK at either school that I've talked to as well. So,
except for his neighbors apparently do. Now, whether it's because Daddy was making play dates, which I don't find that weird.
Wait, what'd you say there? Wait, what'd you say?
But his neighbor did, because Daddy was making play dates. And I know people think it's weird, and it might be weird. But if you have a kid who's not very, he's just not socially, he struggles socially or has anxiety or whatever, you can do whatever you can for your kid. And it's overstepping, and yes, kid will want to kill him. But as a parent, I don't think it's that weird to say to a guy, hey, my kid's a little, you mind reaching out once in a while? We're far away. We're 6,000 miles away. I don't think that's weird. I think it's being a good parent. I'm sorry, but I just don't think that's weird. Parents are weird. We do weird shit. Just who we are.
Gotcha.
It might be extra.
So, let's go back to I want to go back on the on the phone calling and everything like that. Because I do know, because I have your phone records, you did make those phone calls. This wasn't something like all these days had gone by, all these weeks had gone by, and then here's Kim. Okay, you know what? I'm going to call the FBI and get on this tip line, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that.
Right. So I did immediately.
And
killer out there.
Have you ever eaten at the grub truck?
You know what? I have not eaten there, and I'm. You know what? I call my trans pants whatever you want. I don't care. But I walked by it before, and I said, "Oh, that's kind of cute. That's a fun thing for the kids." No, you're not going there. I'm not going to eat there, but it was cute. It's a fun place for the kids, And what they've already put in their body is going to kill them probably anyway. So no, I haven't eaten there, but it looks cute. I've seen it.
I want to show you. I don't know if you're looking at this.
And I love Moscow. I will tell you that too. I wouldn't ever go back there, but I love it. I used to love it. It was great during COVID.
I'm just looking for something. I have papers everywhere. Let's see something.
You need binder tabs. Somebody's sending you those.
No, I just want to show you something else.
Everybody needs a binder tab. I love binders.
I don't know. I got so much stuff here.
I know people will find this hard to believe, but I do have a binder for every one of my children that comes from birth. to where they are now in their life. I know.
Okay, here's a question. I don't know if you know this. They don't, but with the two schools being so close, do students ever take classes at both? We did if one school didn't offer something we needed in a semester.
I don't know that actually. Like if they cost, I don't know that actually. I know my children haven't, but that's not to say that it's not offered or available. I don't know because they're different state. I don't know. That's a great question though. I don't know. I can find out. I can call them out and find out. I have no problem calling the school. In fact, I live for it.
Call the school. Give them a call.
I'll give them a call, ring them up. I'm like, hey, me again. You know me. You know my voice. They know my voice. For real.
Mandy says, what never question, Ariane. Do you regret calling the police or the FBI?
No. No. Absolutely no, I do not. Not even a little bit. I regret nothing. It's the right thing to do. If you see something, say something. Mm-hmm. If you know something, do something. We don't get to take a path on this planet. We all live here together. If it's uncomfortable, well, then you're doing the right thing because doing the right thing isn't always comfortable. And that's just how it is. And that's how we survive together. And that's how we become better together. I'm sorry. Yes, no, I do not regret it. Not even for a minute. Not even the weeks my daughter and I didn't talk. Actually, a nice way. No.
Have a good night there.
Did you disagree? Did I lose somebody for you? I'm sorry.
God, no. No.
I regret. I will take something back. You know what I do regret? I do regret calling one content creator that I thought I could trust and I couldn't. And I have learned a lesson.
Oh, that has nothing to do with that. Yeah, that's not about that. I just
want people to know that that's the only regret I have. I trust somebody I shouldn't have. So be careful, I guess, is my message. Do the right thing, but be careful when you're doing the right thing. I guess is what I'd say. I do not regret calling you. I do not regret.
Would you get a tattoo that said "No regrets" like this and with RAGRET?
No, I know, and I pity the child in my that gets one too because I did not. I would not, and I do not. No, but everybody, I like to look at other people. But no, I wouldn't get a tattoo. I'd wear a T-shirt that said that. I would for sure. Not a tattoo. Tattoos are forever.
Yeah.
Terrible at the age and the sun.
There you go.
I'm sorry. Anybody who has them.
All right. Let me go back over to this really quick. All right, I'm gonna pull up a couple different things here. But I want to say thank you for popping on here. And I wanted to that big thing that I wanted to just clear up was like the whole alibi thing, which was from people that you had talked to. This U of I student that said he was, over playing video games. It was that it was like a question mark of like, well, people that I talked to include my daughter, because we were there for Parents Weekend. You never saw him or the girl he dates. And that's where this information started coming in. And I mean, she called the police and she called the FBI immediately. I have the phone records. I saw them. It's, they're there. She didn't come forward all this time later. And
no, I did it immediately. It took a couple of days, I think, to put it together. And it was like, and I'm trying to piece out what I know, because you don't want to call with bad information, the whole thing is, what are you talking about somebody who called the police? You learn that like the 3-year-olds called the police. Why would the police not call? That I just still can't wrap my head around. So it took a hot minute to piece it together. And for the kids too, honestly, when they realized the police weren't called. And it's like Dave said, it wasn't even like, it's so beyond the path. Like, it's just beyond, like, you know what I mean? It's just, call the police.
Yeah.
Unless you're guilty. And that's what it comes back to.
Well, thank you so much, Kim. Much love to you. I'll be in touch, but thank you for popping on here. And that was like my big thing was you're the best. I'll talk to you later. Bye, Kim.
All right, bye.
All right, again, thank you guys for being amazing. I was trying to do both. Snatch up your guys' questions, keep things on track. But something I want to look at is this timeline of, and I'm going to use Hector here for a second. So here's Hector. Let me just, okay. Take a look. All right. All right, guys. When I have a clear one, so we'll just use this one. All right. I want you guys to look at something really quick. When these were written up, and it says, on December 13th, 2022, I obtained a search warrant for TikTok. The warrant was served on December 13th via TikTok, the law enforcement portal. Okay, if you go into TikTok, you can see how that works. All right. And then that doesn't come back until February 19th. So remember, everything that they said that they used in the PCA when it came to TikTok, it was from the downloads of Xana's phone. So the TikTok, though, that's why that little note there is PCA. The TikTok itself and whatever information you were able to get from TikTok itself, this wouldn't have been part of the PCA because it wasn't back yet. All right. But also right here, the verbiage is on February 19th, I received an email directing me to download the data. On February 20th, I downloaded the data. And an inventory was prepared for all the items received. This is what happens when you type something up. Normally, this Maori guy, he did it. And just like it was for Snapchat, I obtained a search warrant for Snapchat. The warrant was served on April 3rd by the law enforcement portal law. I received an email from Snapchat. Okay. So when you're doing this, you're sending it out to wherever it is that you got your search warrant for. So let's see. The Reddit. This is the second time they go for Reddit. Again, a search warrant for Reddit. The warrant was served on January 26, 2023 by email. And it refuses to say that, like where it was going. But here on February 8th, 2023, I received an email from Reddit. Again, let's grab. Now, take a look. Extreme Networks. On December 12th, so number 4, on December 12th, 2022, I obtained a search warrant for Extreme Networks. Number 5, the warrant was served on December 12th, 2022 via email, and it's redacted. Okay? Which, that's okay. They want to redact the email here. This is a search warrant that was served to Reddit. The warrant was served on 26th. Again, email redacted. Email redacted. Okay? That's fine. Number 6. On December 14th, 2022, I received an email from Detective Neil. Take those away. URIG of the Post Falls Police Department stating he received the data to unlock the laptop. Now, this is completely different than any other search warrant. I received an email from Snapchat. I received an email from Reddit. I received an email from Detective Neil Ulrich of the Post Falls Police Department stating he received the data to unlock the laptop. Well, how? What? So, did Extreme Networks ever get back to this officer, meaning Lawrence Mowry? I mean, look at, he goes and obtains a search warrant. I'm going to zoom in there. This is really important. The warrant was served on December 12th via email. And then there's this big old gap because clearly stuff's redacted. But on December 14th, I received an email. It should be from Extreme Networks, right? I obtained a search warrant for Extreme Networks. So, what do you guys think about this? So, Neil then, okay, it doesn't matter if we know anything. We don't need to know anything, guys. This isn't about knowing anything. This is about the chain. This is about the chain. When Detective Mowry took his happy ass down to the courthouse to get this search warrant signed by the judge. Okay. And he then serves the search warrant for Extreme Networks. Why would a Post Falls detective email Lowry back on December 14th with data to get into a laptop? So you're going to sit here and tell me that Extreme Networks could it be that where this Extreme Networks search warrant was served upon, was it served to Detective Neil Uhrig of the Post Falls Police Department? I don't even know that answer. Okay. Again, this is for Extreme Networks. It's for Extreme Networks. Okay. Check this out. I was like, who's Detective Neil? Who is this guy? Let's take a look. Let's take a look. I'm going to pull something up for you. I don't even know that answer. I don't even know that answer. You guys like when I say that? I don't even know that answer. I don't even know that answer. No secret. Service Post Falls detective. For his digital forensic work throughout the inland Northwest, the U.S. Secret Service honored Post Falls Police Department Detective Neil Uhrig with an award during the Post Falls City Council meeting Tuesday evening. Photo courtesy of the Post Falls Police Department. February 19, 2021. Out of more than 1,700 policing digital forensic examiners across the nation, Post Falls Police Department's own detective Neil Uhrig was ranked in the top 50 by the U.S. Secret Service for 2020. Every year, the U.S. Secret Service's National Computer Forensic Institute recognizes leading state and local law enforcement agents for their proficiency in media, e-tech, and hard drive digital detective techniques. Uhrig was ranked 49th in the country. It's quite an honor, in quotes, to know I got the award. In the work that I do, there is probably no higher honor for forensics. Uhrig has worked in the PFPD forensic department for almost a decade, but dove into the niche detective style in 2017. Uhrig was drawn to forensic work with a personal passion for fighting crimes against children, which have expanded in the digital realm. During the 2020 fiscal year, Uhrig examined over 75 terabits of data, breaking down to around 256 computer or cell phone hard drives. Quote unquote. This is the highest number that I've put out over the years, Uric said. Honestly, that would be a tough thing to top, as I do forensics as part of the normal cases I get assigned as a detective. There are large agencies that do forensics from start to end, so their output would be a lot higher. In 2016, by the nomination of Post Falls Police Department Chief Pat Knight and Captain Greg McLean, Ulrich was picked up for training with the U.S. Secret Service's National Computer Forensic Institute. Since then, the PFPD and Ulrich have strengthened their relationship with the USSS and forensic detective divisions across the inland Northwest. Without a doubt, my office and staff who have worked with Neil have benefited from his expertise. Most importantly, I hope, and I do believe that not just the Post Falls community, but North Idaho and even Eastern Washington communities have benefited from this partnership. Digital crimes have become increasingly prevalent over the last several decades, Ulrich said, with more examinations linked to low-level crimes like shoplifting and felonies like murder and child pornography. About 75% of my work is child-related. However, I get all different types of cases from different agencies. The USSS has a lot of financial-related cases like credit card fraud. Other agencies ask me to examine things on murder cases, shootings, and drug offenses. As a result of Urich's training, the USSS has provided thousands of dollars worth of training and equipment to Post Falls Police Department and USSS Spokane office. I know you are very successful, and I know the training you've been provided has been very beneficial to the city, Post Falls Mayor Ron Jacobson said. We can't extend enough appreciation to you and the department for the work you have done for this community. Okay. So this is the best of the best let's go back here and look at this. On December 12, 2022, they wanted a search warrant of Extreme Networks. The warrant was served on December 12, 2022 via email, and it never says who it goes to. Okay? Never says who it goes to. On December 14th, 2 days after the search warrant was served, again, we don't know who got it. On December 14th, 2022, Maury in Moscow, he said he received an email from Detective Neil Uhrig of the Post Falls Police Department stating he received the data to unlock the laptop. There's clearly something else that was supposed to be after this, but it's redacted. Detective Uhrig completed a forensic download of the data on the laptop. Again, something's redacted. A copy of the inventory receipt was emailed to blank and blank. The data from the laptop was placed into evidence at Moscow Police Department. Whose laptop was it? Well, Extreme Networks there's a gentleman by the name of Jeremiah that started one of Kaylee's, the big GoFundMe, and he works for Extreme Networks, and that is where Kaylee was going to be, what I thought, that she was going to be starting this internship in February. Okay. And that she was going to be doing an internship from February to June 1st. Well, I was confused as to why Kaylee would have Extreme Networks laptop, a work laptop, or information, or if there was software that was on her computer, whatever, how she would have all of that if she wasn't working for them yet. How do you have that? I don't know if you guys saw recently, and I can pull it up here and put it on the screen, but Kaylee had printed off what people are deeming a journal. And really what it was is, it's not a journal per se. It's Kaylee's list of the things that she is, thankful for. And she makes this list. Well, she had put out this list back a while ago on social media that I think that it probably came up in people's news feeds of some sort. But her sister reshared it, but also a friend of hers reshared it and put it in this friend of hers, this girl, Ashlyn something, not Couch. She put it in her story, and I happened to see it, and I took a screenshot of it, okay? And I'm going to share it, and there's something that I want to point out. I'll just read it. It says, things I value. You guys, I'm sure you guys have seen this, okay? Things I value. Let's see, the screenshot I took it from. Okay, these are the things I value. Right? And I wanted to look at the friends part. It says my friends. And then it lists all these people, okay? And I wanted to look for the name Jordan. And the reason I wanted to look for the name Jordan is because Jordan is a girl that was supposed to go and her and Kaylee were going to be going to Austin. And they were going to be living together in Austin come June of 2023. Okay. June. And Jordan was in the education program at University of Idaho. So was Kaylee. Kaylee was actually in the education program. And so they crossed paths at, and it's a female. The name Jordan is a female. And I was able to come across her YouTube channel. And way back in the beginning, I put it out there and I put out a video. And because I found Jordan was interviewed, and I found her interview, and she said that she was going to be moving. Her and Kaylee were going to Austin, but they were going in June. I'm like, why does this Jordan girl think that they're going in June? Kaylee's going in February. And Kaylee put out that she was looking for a roommate in October. Okay. That she was looking that post that went out. And it was like, this girl didn't even know that Kaylee was going out earlier. Okay. This Jordan girl was going to find a job teaching. Okay. And that Kaylee had secured a job. All right. And that she was starting, this girl thought that she was starting her, whatever she was doing with this company, that she thought she was starting in June. But they would be moving there in June because the girl, Jordan, would be starting to teach then in the late August, September, because she's a teacher. Okay. Well, I was looking at this interview and I'm like, well, God, how logic is that you're going to move into a place, be there for just 3 months, February, March, April, May. Okay. 4 months. And then you're actually going to stay there because Jordan's coming and y'all are going to be living together. That's what Jordan thinks. Jordan thought that she was moving to Austin and living with Kaylee in a place in Austin. Like, that was their plan. They looked at considering going to North Carolina. They looked into Boston. They looked into California. I believe it was San Jose. Maybe it was San Diego. But they had looked at and they were considering a couple of these different places. And then they decided on Austin. Okay. They decided on Austin. And I was like, why would Kaylee want to go move into a place and then have to move in again in June? And I'm over here like, what about these leases? You have a lease in Moscow, then you have, and it's with this Extreme Networks. That's the job that she was going. She was doing her internship. It was a paid internship that started in February. It was an internship. And then she would be starting, her job. And that she had this job lined up and that she had this internship lined up. And it started February for the internship. And then, she would start in her job after the internship. And I looked and I saw that Kaylee was looking, and everybody out there that could find it, in October, she put out this, that she was looking for a roommate. And I'm like, okay, but she only needs a roommate for that small extent of a period of time. And she was open to living wherever in Austin. She doesn't really know the area. Okay, great. So I go and I looked at this and I'm like, let me see where that's, let me see if Jordan's on here. Okay. My friends, Maddie, Xana, Dylan, Bethany. Not a fucking Jordan. Things I value: God, my family, and then you go into my friends: Maddie, Xana, Dylan, Bethany, Josie, Laura, Zoe, Nat G, Ash, Nat F, Riley, Bailey, Daisy, Chloe, B, Sailor, Kayla, Katie, Phoebe, Erica, Sophia, Ruby, Ashlyn, Kendra, Haley, Jaden, Emma. Not a Jordan. This is who she was going to be living with. And she's not on here. Which I was like, okay. Then you have just so you know, there's an Emma that they're friends with. You guys can think that that's that other Emma, but they're friends with an Emma. Then you got Jack, 2 hearts. Then you got Murphy. So you know that this list was at least made after Murphy was theirs, okay? Because Murphy's on it. So when people are going to say, when was this made? When was this made? Okay. Well, the first people that are listed here are all the roommates. I believe this was made right like in the summer of 2022. And then the last people that she talks about here at the end are all the departing roommates of Maddie's. Sophia, Ruby, Ashlyn, Kendra, Haley. Those people, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus Maddie, that's your house of 1122 King Road in Maddie's junior year. Okay. Now, you got Jack D, you have Murphy. Then it says my job. She values her job. My health, MySpace. Not MySpace, guys. Not that old school MySpace. But MySpace. And then that's the room plus upstairs plus alone time. That's what she considers MySpace. Room. And then it's a separate category when she's talking about upstairs. Okay. And then alone time. All right. But my job, my health, my space, my future, my looks, my social life. All right. And my job, my future. Nothing about like like us. You can kind of tell this is like written after somebody would have like, they're not putting on there like my education, that I value my education. Because if you were like going, I bet you if she was like a freshman or a sophomore writing this, my education, the education I'm getting. So it's kind of like this. She's already talking about my job, because I believe that Kaylee, when she wrote this, she had a job. And I believe that she had a job, and it was with Extreme Networks. But Extreme Networks is nothing what her focus was with her, all of her Dean's List accolades, with everything to do with the University of Idaho. It was all in, she was an education major. And she believed that she was going to actually go to Idaho and not only get her undergrad, okay, but she was planning on getting, I believe, her to do her master's, to do her grad. Because of this, thanks to some of us here at TNT, we pulled the Dean's List, okay? All the Dean's List winners from 2019 until 2022 from the University of Idaho. Who's on the Dean's List? What's their major? What year? What semester? What do we got? So let's take a look. Let me share screen. All right. If you look up here at the top, it says student name, college, degree, major 1, major 2, hometown. Okay. And you go, so we'll go all the way down to Ratham. Okay, so in 2019, no, 2020. This is the fall of 2020. Nothing under that. So let me go here. Oopsies. This is spring 2020 Dean's List. Go down to okay, there you go. Zoom in. Okay. You guys see that? Okay, take a look here. This is the focus here is the curriculum and instruction. Okay. Again, this is spring 2020. All right. Dean's List. Right. She was always in education, health, and human science. This is always what she was. BS and the education. And what you do is, now I'm going to show you guys how you decide this. All right. When you become and you want to be an educator, you can be an elementary school teacher. You can be a secondary school teacher. Or you can go the route of being like a guidance counselor. Okay. And when you want to be guidance counselors and you want to be anything that would be more of like in a role of the like a principal or assistant principal, what you do is you go into the grad program, the master's program. Okay. And so what I looked up is what was Kaylee's focus, and I saw this curriculum and instruction versus, let me show you guys. Let's look at one where it says So you can see, like, you have business, like Maddie. Maddie was a Dean's Law student. She's under the business. Curriculum and instruction, art and art. Like, you would just go through this and you would see what their focus was. If they were planning on also being like a dual major to have two majors. Like this person, Andrew S. Johnson, physics and mathematics, major 1, major 2, so he's a dual major. But your curriculum and instruction, okay, when you actually go and you look that up, so let me go like this. Let me stop sharing that to pull this one up. Okay. Here you guys go. Department of Curriculum and Instruction. All right. This is it. And the Department of Curriculum and Instruction in the College of Education, Health, and Human Sciences at the University of Idaho leads and delivers exceptional hands-on experience for students seeking their undergraduate and graduate degrees and or certification in education. All right. Your undergraduate degree programs include career and technical education, like I said, elementary, secondary. The graduate degree program includes special education, curriculum, and instruction. Undergraduate and graduate classes are delivered on the Moscow campus, the Coeur d'Alene, and Boise centers in Twin Falls, as well as an extensive online instruction that serves students all over the world. Online instruction. Okay. Well, I went ahead and I looked at Kaylee's social media again. And I wanted to zoom in on any time she said that she was at a coffee shop, when she was posting her laptop. I wanted to zoom in on her pictures of her laptop. And I came across ones that were from the fall of 2020, September, and then also like January of 2020, where she has her laptop in a picture. And if you zoom in, you can actually see, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with Blackboard, okay? BB Learning, Blackboard. It's where your online classes would be. It's like anything and everything. You go to Blackboard. It's online stuff, but it's also your syllabuses for all of your classes. So if you guys can remember back to your days in college, Blackboard, and you go. So let's see. I looked at, I'm going to show you guys. I wanted these dates because I wanted a timeline of Where was Kaylee? Was she doing all of her stuff online? Because of everything with COVID, you had that option. So when I looked at Kaylee's, those pictures, I wanted to get some that had her computer. And one of the things I noticed is I came across, I'm going to go to Hector the projector right here. I like to show you guys how I got somewhere. So if this isn't your cup of tea, hey, you don't have to watch. All right. But if you go to her social media, you're going to be able to see this. And it says, I'm back, come see me. And it has coffee. And she actually tagged herself of where she was. It's down there. But up here, it also shows you 2020. And it was September. It was actually September 14th. And it says, I'm back, come see me. And she's actually tagged at a place that's called Jitters. And it's actually in Post Falls. Okay. And what it looked like to me at first, because I was putting this timeline together, I was like, September 14th, 2020, why is she working in Post Falls when, she's supposed to be living in Moscow, Idaho? Why? How is she having a job? Because I looked up, I went back to September 14th of 2020. What was the day of the week? It was a Tuesday. And so I was like, damn. I was like, well. And then this is one of the things where you say, I'm back, smiley face, come see me. Okay, come see me. And she's telling people to come see her. Like, that's like a tag when you're at work. You want people to come visit you. It's like your way of promoting. And it says like the Jitters. So I clicked on it to see what Jitters was. Like, and it's a coffee shop. Then I was able to get let me see something. I got the picture of her computer, and that one was closed. And then I was able to go and find when it was opened like this to come visit. And I was like, yes, let's take a look. And again, I looked at the date and I was like, okay, September 17th, 2020. Where's this one at? Cute little study spot for the day. And zoomed in. I was like, University of Idaho. Looked, I was like, oh my God, this is Black Book. I remembered it. I was like, this is Blackboard. I was like, holy shit, this is Blackboard. And you could see, if you zoom in, you could actually see, what some of the stuff is making out. But at the end of the day, this is how I got to this point. Okay. Which is, why is Kaylee working and studying in Post Falls, September 17th, 2020, all the way out there and not in Moscow? How old was she in 2020? That looks like my setup. I'll take some Red Bull. So it's not adding up. It's not adding up. It's not adding up to the fact of, if you're like, 2020 is her sophomore year. Okay. So her sophomore year in the summer, or I'm sorry, in the fall, you're in Post Falls all week that week. September 14th, you're at Jitters and you're saying, come see you, you're back. Then it's December 17th, you're at this other location and you're taking pictures. And that's where you're going to do your studying, which if you think about it, everybody's at home. And if you want to be like in a quiet place, and great, but she's not in Moscow. She's not in Moscow. She's not there. And what I think it is that she's living at the sorority house, but would go and come back as she pleased. You know what I mean? Again, nothing's wrong with any of that. But she's not there. And so it brings me to 2022. And for Kaylee not to be there and have left early, or whatever her parents said, or that she was moving out early, I don't know, whatever it may be, but it would not be out of the norm for Kaylee to be spending a lot of time not in Moscow and actually other places. Yes, 2020, COVID. Absolutely. COVID shut down everything in March of 2020. All right. But she's back. She's working at this Jitters place. That's what that is. Kids had the option. This is how everybody gets tossed into this during COVID, to start doing things online. All right. And taking advantage of that. If you are on top of your schoolwork, okay, if you can self-motivate, then you can take online classes. But if you can't, you're the type of person that needs to go to school so that you can get good grades. Otherwise, you procrastinate, and then you're just like, shit. So Kaylee had this career that she was planning on having an education. So my question is when did that change? Why did it change? Did it change? But extreme networks, and that's not education. Trust me, any and all of us can go and decide that we're going to be in this major and then switch and go to this major. But that's not what happened. She wasn't switching majors. At least on paper, she wasn't. Let me go back to this to show you guys. When you go to 2020 and you look at the dean's list. Okay, so when you, oh. I'm sorry, when you go to 20, so this is 2020, but when you go to 2022, it's 20, here we go, spring 2022. Okay. And you go all the way down, you go back to where they're from. Kaylee Dean's list right here. Human science, letters, arts, VS, curriculum. There you go. Spring of 2022. 2022. Education, health, and human sciences. BS in education, curriculum, and instruction. Now, what's extreme networks? What's extreme networks? Let's take a look. Actually, before we go there, if Kaylee didn't start her internship with Extreme Networks until February of 2023, how does Kaylee have a laptop from Extreme Networks? Let me show you what it's all about, what Extreme Networks is all about. All right. Finding new ways for the network to drive your organization forward. So let's see. Make sure this is, you guys can see it on your end. All right. Ready, guys? Lana's going to get a job at Extreme Networks. So let's check it out. How would I go about this? Promotion or products and solutions, partners, find a partner, contact us, about Extreme, who we are, who we serve, how to buy, all resources about Extreme company, career. Okay, careers at Extreme Networks. There has never been a better time to join Extreme Networks. Become part of something big with us. We are a global leader with hubs in North America, Latin America, Asia Pacific, Europe, and the Middle East. Extreme Academy. Extreme Academy has one purpose in mind: to help educate and inspire the next generation of technologists and prepare them for the workplace. Extreme Academy offers a range of courses designed to help students gain current and future networking skills, understanding network design and integrated security. Advanced topics include data analysis, artificial intelligence. Where do you see yourself at Extreme? Engineering, sales, marketing. Promote the advances and the momentum of the world's most exciting network company through best-in-class events and communications. Marketing. All right, well, see open positions. What do we got here? Early career. Whether you are a current university student, a recent graduate, or an early in-career professional looking to make a positive shift in your career path, Extreme Networks has exciting and diverse opportunities. Now, we'll learn more about this. Extreme Early in Career Program. Internships. As an Extreme intern, you will work on meaningful assignments, gain impactful experience, learn and grow in your field, and engage with a community of peer interns and talented employees across the company. At the conclusion of your assignment, you will have the opportunity to showcase your work and contributions to the team. Interns will have the opportunity to hear from and have discussions with senior leaders from across the company as they discuss their roles, priorities, and perspectives on growing your career. This series helps provide attendees with a better understanding of how our teams work together to win and how you can maximize your impact at Extreme. Interns will be provided forums to share insights about you, your work, and contributions, as well as feedback on how to continually improve the intern program. Mm. All right, so then I did this. Ready? Sorry, I was just trying to pull something up. Atlanta, this advertisement for the internship sounds like a bunch of jargon. Yeah. Well, let's take a look though. So I was able to come across this Jeremiah guy, and he put his Zoom meeting on the internet. Yeah, can you believe it? Let's see. I'm gonna pull up this.
We run at times over 45.
Yeah, Jeremiah is a broker. This is a company I've never heard before. I'm just trying to look at your guys' chats now. Good, kudos to all the retired teachers out there. I love it. But if you have a computer, a laptop of theirs, and that means you're already working for them. If you're starting an internship in February, how do you already have a laptop from them? Okay. And I just really wanted to show you guys a little bit of this video. And now it's not coming up. Let's see if I can go like this. Jeremiah was a bullfrog. Oh, crap. That made me laugh. Thanks. Oh, yeah. No, they're a real company, guys. What they did is they buy a bunch of companies. They're taking over, like, it's like a service. Like, it's like grouping up your, if you run an organization, like, I don't know, whatever company you run, you would then use Extreme Networks to, like, do all of, like, your, it's like you, like, ran Chase Bank. All the people that work for Chase Bank, it's like their way of communicating with each other when they're working. And that's why I wanted to try to find this video. Yes, exactly. What, does anybody know Jeremiah's last name? Because he is involved with, he's in Canada. How did I find this last time?
If I were to describe extreme in one word, it would be unity.
Trust.
Empowering.
Powerful.
Fun.
Special.
Dynamic.
Meaningful.
Amazing.
The thing that surprised me most about Extreme is just the impact that interns have the ability to have.
Everyone was so welcoming towards me.
I didn't realize how fun working with real computer hardware could be.
Everyone was so welcoming towards me.
I didn't realize how
Extreme is just the impact that interns have the ability to have.
Everyone was so welcoming towards me.
I didn't realize how fun working with real computer hardware could be.
The executives really want to get to know you.
They made sure they answered all my questions.
Whatever aspect of the business they were in, they were very available and willing to talk.
Extreme does a great job with making sure that you can find a sense of community.
It's like the sense of like a big family.
I feel better prepared for my career because I have learned working with like teams in different time zones owing to how global and international Extreme is.
I learned how to be more adaptable. How to manage other people.
It helped me learn a lot of powerful techniques.
I am now comfortable presenting in front of executives, other team members.
Every day I learn.
I am now comfortable
To manage other people.
It helped me learn a lot of.
Is that Maddie's boyfriend? That's not him, is it? It just looks like him.
How to manage other people.
It helped me learn a lot of powerful techniques.
I am now comfortable presenting in front of executives, other team members.
Every day I learn something from a different perspective.
I have been able to tap into so many resources.
Through meaningful work and high priority projects, I've gained real world experiences.
My favorite part of working at Extreme was the ability to make an impact on my projects, but also make an impact on Extreme.
The people I get to work with the work I get to do, it's always fun.
I've had the opportunity to meet with so many talented individuals.
Amazing.
The impact that interns have the ability to have.
Everyone was so welcoming.
Is that Jake? No, he has less hair.
Towards me.
I didn't realize how fun working with real computer hardware.
Every day I learn something from a different perspective.
I have been able to tap into so many resources.
Through meaningful work and high priority projects, I've gained real world experiences.
My favorite part of working at Extreme was the ability to make an impact on my projects, but also make an impact on Extreme.
The people I get to work with the work I get to do, it's always fun.
I've had the opportunity to meet with so many talented individuals.
Work with real equipment and learn by doing.
Real opportunities to engage with our partners and the great staff here at Extreme.
Everyone is so willing to help me learn and really see me grow.
Even though my internship is remote, it still feels like in person.
And I love that feeling of like working with everybody around and getting to, upskill myself as I'm doing that. Like working with.
Even though my internship is remote, it still feels like in person.
And I love that feeling of like working with everybody.
Is remote, it still feels like in person.
And I love that feeling of like working with everybody around and getting to, upskill myself.
Extreme has a rich culture when it comes to teamwork. One of the things that I would highlight is that everyone is willing to help each other. It doesn't matter which title you have or, where you sit in an organization.
Hmm.
I love the people, and it really starts at the top with our leadership team. Every one of them is amazing at what they do, and they really care about the people of Extreme, and they care about diversity and inclusion.
The people love what they're doing, and we have an incredible leader with Ed that we believe in, and we all believe in our mission. See, there you go. Ed, right on cue.
Nobody does it better than Jeevan.
There you go.
I've never worked for an organization where my leaders want me to succeed so bad.
The best part of the team is we work together with the family, and I love that because of we can help each other.
You can feel the buzz and the energy every day when you go to work, that there's some amazing people doing amazing things.
One of the main things that is different here is I can be myself. A lot of places, they try to mold you into what they want you to be. Extreme has allowed me to come in, be myself, and contribute to Extreme's bottom line in ways that are unique to me.
I would describe Extreme's culture as friendly, fun, passionate, candid, and a place where if you really want to be challenged every day and encouraged to grow and given the tools to grow, it's a really special environment in that way. You don't get that at every company.
At Extreme, we sell in every geography, market, vertical. So you get the opportunity to work on a number of programs and projects, customers from retail to finance.
While we have the technology, the engineering, and the resources of a large enterprise IT networking technology company, we have really the intimacy in the small, almost startup feel of an organization and culture.
Our innovation is second to none. Everybody is trying to copy what we have to offer. It's a really open and supportive culture, and this is a perfect time to be with Extreme.
Extreme Networks. Advance with us.
Avança com nosotros. Meu nome é Renato, do Brasil. Avance conosco.
Advance with us.
ก้าวหน้าไปด้วยกันกับเรา
Advance with us.
Hello and welcome to our brand new training series. This
Got
is
it.
the welcome series. This is introductory level technical training. It's open to everybody. It's free of charge, including the certification exam and the badge you get at the end of the training. We'll tell you more about that shortly. If you're one of our customers, then welcome to you. If you're thinking about becoming a customer, welcome. If you are a distributor or an Extreme partner, welcome to you. Or if you're an Extreme employee or you're thinking about becoming an employee, welcome to you as well. There's 6 episodes in this series. It's going to be about 1 hour per week in YouTube. We're coming to you live right now. I just want you to know that all of the episodes are going to be in a playlist. They'll appear in the playlist straight after the live stream. So if you have to step away, you miss something, or you miss an episode, then don't worry. You just jump into our YouTube channel and you'll be able to catch up. Now, in the welcome series, we introduce you to members of our family. In this one, you're going to meet Extreme Cloud IQ. And before we get into the training, I just want you to meet some more people. So let's meet some of the team. I'm just looking down. Isaac is the instructor. So Isaac looks like he's getting ready. I'll tell you a little bit more about.
Okay, got it.
Resource box, and I've also provided additional resource documents for your reference. This presentation is being recorded and will be available by end of business today. To access
Okay,
it,
here we
please click
go.
on the same webinar link that you used today. If you have any questions or experience problems during the webinar, please email webinars@jenny.com for assistance. If you're experiencing difficulties with the On24 platform, click on the help widget at the bottom of the console. And at this time, I'd like to press presentation over to Jeremiah. Again, thank you everyone for joining us.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Mike. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, all good.
Perfect. Well, we'll get started. Again, as Mike said, my name is Jeremiah Shea. I'm the Director for Commercial Markets here at Extreme Networks. I'm excited to have everybody here to talk. Jenny's one of our amazing distributors, so you guys are in great hands with them. I've been with the company now for 6 years, and prior to running our U.S. commercial markets, I spent almost 5 years managing channel partners just like you folks. And even before that, I spent 10 years in distribution working with channel partners daily. So, I know the struggles. I know, this is another vendor training, so to speak, where you have to kind of digest all the different products that we bring to the table and try to figure out, amongst the 50 to 100 vendors that you support, how those pieces come together. But we're here today to try to make it really, really easy for you folks, to give you kind of a singular focus that's, really, really potent. The strongest card to play on the table, so to speak, and make it really easy, to be able to propose a network solution from us, whether you've been an Extreme partner for a long time, or you're relatively new to us and don't know who we are. So on that note, let's talk about that just a little bit, because I know there are some folks on the line that are new to Extreme, maybe haven't heard of us, maybe you just really love the color purple. But to give just a little bit of a background before we start, we'll talk a little bit more about, who we are, how we do what we do and why we do it. And the why is really, we are disruptors, challenging the status quo. I think of companies like Apple in the early 2000s when they were up against, Microsoft and Windows. I think of companies like Amazon, challenging, going into the store versus buying online. And I think of companies like Tesla, where you get in the car and it's still a car, but it's just a wildly different experience. That is exactly the same type of mentality that we bring to the table is innovation, challenging the status quo in the network industry. And we're looking for transformational outcomes, both for ourselves as a company to try to take market share from some of the larger, slower moving, corporations at the top, as well as for our partners that work with us to stand out, be a little different and offer something, that is a little bit ahead of its time. And for our customers, versus going with something with the status quo, going with something that's going to drive their business and help them be more agile and nimble in their day-to-day. So, when you think about us, again, we are disruptors, innovators, and challenging the status quo. But how do we do that? We do that today with, a wildly, incredibly agile platform called Cloud IQ. What this brings is simplicity, agility, security, and most importantly in today's day and age, intelligence into our users' hands. And what that helps them with is to be more efficient, right? So the network isn't causing them kind of drag in their day-to-day, but also focus on more important initiatives. And what we do.
So basically it takes them to get all the way to the end of this, as I've already watched this before, to basically say that you want to be with us because your internet's not going to crash. And so it's like if you own a company, you have Extreme Networks, and like you use their platform to talk to each other. It's like a Zoom. That's what I got out of it. I have no idea. Like I sat through this 51 minutes and I was like, what the fuck do they do? Like how so do they sell it? How do you do marketing? So you just do like you market this? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Let's take a look here at these new documents to close it all out. Let me make sure. I just want to update that. Oh, wow. All right. Closing it all out with the documents, guys, the documents. So let's go share the screen. This is defendant's fourth supplemental request for discovery. And they labeled it as attached Exhibit C. Okay. So this is their fourth one. And then you got this is your next document. Order to file defendant's Exhibit C is attached. The court having before a defendant's stipulated motion to file Exhibit C attached to defendant's fourth request for discovery under seal and good cause appearing out therefore, so they're going to seal it. And it is hereby ordered that the defendant's Exhibit C attached to their fourth supplemental request for discovery shall be filed under seal. Alrighty. Order to file defendant's Exhibit C attached to this defendant's fourth supplemental request for discovery under seal. Next up is the state's motion for protective order. Okay, so here you go. Comes now the state of Idaho by and through. And this is information related to the genetic genealogy. This case arises from a quadruple homicide. Law enforcement found the DNA of a potential suspect at the crime scene, and the FBI submitted the DNA to one or more publicly available genetic genealogy services to determine potential relatives of the suspect. The FBI then used, remember I told you guys it wasn't the Pennsylvania State Police. The FBI then used common genealogical techniques to develop a family tree leading to defendant. The state seeks to protect from disclosure the names and personal information of the hundreds of innocent relatives on the family tree, the names of the publicly available genetic genealogy services used, and certain other information described below. The disclosure of this information is not required by Rule 16 of the Idaho Criminal Rules and should be protected from disclosure for the good cause described below. On November 13, 2022, law enforcement found the bodies of Madison, Mogan, and Kaylee, Santa, and Ethan. All four victims died from apparent knife wounds. Law enforcement found a K-bar knife sheath on a bed next to the bodies of Madison and Kaylee. The sheath was face down. So this is new. The sheath was face down and partially under both Madison's body and the comforter on the bed. Okay. Law enforcement seized the K-bar knife sheath pursuant to a search warrant. The Idaho State Police Lab located DNA on the K-bar knife sheath. The ISP laboratory determined the DNA came from a single source and that the source was male. Once law enforcement had single source DNA from the K-bar knife sheath, they conducted what is called a short tandem repeat STR analysis. STR DNA analysis involves looking at 20 regions within human DNA and allows law enforcement to make a direct comparison between two STR DNA profiles. Law enforcement submitted the STR DNA profile obtained from the K-bar knife sheath to the Combined DNA Index System, CODIS, a database of STR DNA profiles from convicted offenders, arrestees, and crime scene evidence to identify the source of DNA. No match was found. Unable to find a match using STR DNA analysis, law enforcement decided to use investigative genetic genealogy to find a lead. Now, if we remember correctly, this is what Mr. and Mrs. Gonzalez were talking about a bunch in their interviews, kind of when they kind of blurted out and said, like, let's just start testing some, and he mentions it, like, you know, familia DNA. Okay. Allows individuals to trace their lineage or connect with unknown family members using DNA. Typically, it involves sending a DNA sample, such as a tube of saliva, to a genetic genealogy service like Ancestry.com, 23andMe, things like that. The genetic genealogy service then creates a single nucleoid polymorphic SNP profile to use the genome. Versus an SNP profile is different than STR DNA profile and is used more often. The genealogy service then uses an algorithm to compare the user's SNP profile to SNP profile submitted to the genetic genealogy service by other users to determine ancestry and potential relatives. Genetic genealogy service shares with the user a list of potential relatives and, depending on the specific genetic genealogy service, personally identifying information on those individuals, like their name, email address, and the amount of DNA the user shares with the potential relatives. The user does not receive any genetic information pertaining to other databases. This same process, used frequently by members of the public, can also be used by law enforcement as part of their investigation. A technique referred to as an investigative genetic IgG. Once a publicly available genetic genealogy service shows law enforcement potential relatives of the suspect, law enforcement applies traditional investigative and genealogical methods to build a family tree in an effort to follow the tree to the suspect or a close relative of the suspect. Family trees can be used to narrow down a potential suspect based on factors such as age, gender, opportunity, known physical characteristics of the suspect, etc. In this case, investigators used IgG to begin the process of developing a lead to the individual who left DNA on the K-bar knife sheath. I want to see something really quick. It located DNA. The Idaho State Police Lab located DNA on the K-bar knife sheath. The ISP laboratory determined the DNA came from a single source. The sheath was face down and partially under both Madison's body. And the comforter on the bed. Hmm. Okay, back up. In this case, investigators used IgG to begin the process of developing a lead to the individual who left the DNA. The private laboratory started using genetic genealogy to develop a family tree, but after law enforcement decided the FBI would take over, the private laboratory ceased its efforts and sent the SNP profile to the FBI. What in the actual fuck? The private laboratory started using genetic genealogy, but after law enforcement decided the FBI would take over. The FBI uploaded the SNP profile to one or more publicly available of the suspect based on shared genetic data. FBI could then view through the Genetic Genealogy Services portal information regarding potential relatives of the suspect who left DNA on the keyboard knife sheath. Based on information the FBI could see in the Genetic Genealogy Services portal, the FBI went to work building family trees of the genetic relatives to the suspect DNA left at the crime scene in an attempt to identify the contributor of the unknown DNA. The FBI built the family tree using the same tools and methods used by members of the public who wish to learn more about their ancestors. For example, the FBI consulted social media, viewed vital records such as birth and death certificates, and viewed other information already contained in the user portal for the Genetic Genealogy Service, including unverified information submitted by other users of the Genetic Genealogy Service. The FBI also consulted subscription-based databases available to law enforcement for information and people. The product of the genealogy conducted by the FBI was a family tree that contained the name, birth date, and death date, if applicable, of hundreds of relatives, as well as their familiar connections between each other and the suspect, Brian C. Corder. The FBI then sent to local law enforcement a tip to investigate defendant. The IgG process pointed law enforcement toward defendant, but it did not provide law enforcement with substantive evidence of guilt. The FBI did not, for example, conduct a direct comparison between the SNP profile from the K-bar knife sheath and defendant's SNP profile. That type of direct comparison required the more traditional STR DNA analysis, which was conducted by the Idaho State Police, not the FBI. Prior to the FBI's IgG efforts, the ISP laboratory developed the traditional STR DNA profile from the DNA found on the K-bar knife sheath. After identification of defendant, law enforcement recovered trash from the home of defendant's parents. An ISP laboratory did STR DNA analysis of items from the trash for comparison to the unknown crime scene DNA. That comparison indicated the DNA found in the trash belonged to the biological father of the individual who left the DNA on the K-bar knife sheath. Pursuant to a search warrant, law enforcement then collected DNA from defendant via a buccal swab. A traditional STR DNA comparison was done between the STR profile found on the K-bar knife sheath and defendant's DNA. The comparison showed a statistical match. Specifically, the STR profile is at least 5.37 octillion times more likely to be seen if defendant is the source than if unrelated individual randomly selected from the general population is the source. Octillion. When's the last time you saw octillion used? So the FBI sent the tip to investigate BK. I don't even know the last time I heard the word ever. Let's take a look at this, though. I'm going to need to print this. Let's kill another tree, Lana. I don't even know that answer. Dude, what's the dates on this shit? Banfield's probably having a jizz fest over there. Oh my god! Oh my god, we have statistical matches! You got, I don't even know what to say. I need a twisted tea for this. Twisted tea for everybody. Oh, I don't even know that answer. All right, I don't even know what's going on. Oh, Banfield's already gone ham, I'm sure. FBI sent a tip to investigate BK. What? Say what? I didn't even know octillion was a word. Cheers, Banfield. Let's take a little test here, though. Let me take a little test if I go like this. I need to print something. I need to take a better look at this. Oh shit, Lana. You're gonna be up all night. Girl, you gotta go to bed. Let's do 1 through 10. I'll just get into the good stuff. Let's see. Oh. Pump that out. The genealogical conduct by the FBI resulted in a lead that pointed law enforcement to defendant, but it did not result in the creation of any documents or records. What? much of the information relied on by the FBI was only viewed through the user portal in the publicly available genetic genealogy services and other investigative databases. The FBI did not download or create copies of those records. What the fuck? What is going on? Oh my God. The FBI did not download or create copies of those records. Once defendant was in custody, the FBI removed the SNP profile from the genetic genealogy services pursuant to the United States Department of Justice interim policy for forensic genetic genealogy DNA analysis and searching DOJ policy. This means the FBI no longer has access to view much of the information it used to create the family tree and cannot view it again without resubmitting the SNP profile to the genetic genealogy services. What kind of protocol is this? Wait, how is this the rule though? Like, I need to look into that rule. What page are we on here? To the state's knowledge, the only records that reflect the FBI's efforts to create defendant's family tree is the family tree itself. Notes jotted down by FBI agents as they constructed the family tree, and any records created to document the removal of the SNP profile from the genetic genealogy service pursuant to the DOJ policy. The state has not seen, nor does the state possess these records or copies of these records. See DOJ policy effective November 1st, 2019. Available at www. The state seeks a protective order for a narrow category of information, namely information related to the use of IgG in this case. Idaho. Here, defendants served on the state a request for discovery that calls for the IgG information, even though the IgG information falls outside of Rule 16, without first obtaining an order from this court. The state now seeks, and the court should enter, an order protecting the information related to the use of IgG in this case. Specifically, the state seeks to protect the following information. They began this Sheath was found face down and partially under both Madison's body and the comforter. And that there was only one single source. There's no blood on that sheath. Let's see what the rule is. The state does not seek to protect and has or will disclose the following information. The FBI collected the trash, right? The IGD process pointed law enforcement toward defendant, but it did not provide law enforcement with. The FBI did not, for example, conduct a direct comparison. After identification of defendant, in the PCA, they say that they identified the defendant because of the WSU employees that found his vehicle. That's how Payne said, is that what they're saying a tip was? Well, the question of whether IGG information must be disclosed as exculpatory is one of first impression in Idaho. Courts outside of Idaho have correctly decided that IGG information need not be disclosed as exculpatory. I'm going to have to end this live. I have lots of work to do. Interesting. Wow. I mean, I want to look at this rule. Lana got to work, y'all. Hold on, let me see. I'm actually mad at I don't know if I just have my printer. Shit's whack over here. Oh, what is, I mean, I want to know what case law made the DOJ not be able to, doesn't seem right, but let's see. I want to take a look at if there's a couple other documents. State's response to defendant's fourth supplemental request, which is what? They're sticking with the fact that they don't have anything new. We know what that means. Okay, and then state's response to defense amended motion to stay. Their initial, okay, that is fine. Stipulated motion to file Exhibit C attached to the defendant's fourth supplemental request for discovery under seal. Damn. All right. All right, well, it's a great way to leave us, guys. Go, you better tell me if we're going to pull some sneaky 8 a.m. live. Now, Lana, take us on real life field trip into your brain while you study this. You know what, Gina? Maybe I will. Maybe I will on members only live. Maybe I will. This is just, I'm very curious. I'm very curious to know about the DOJ policy that came into effect on November 1st, 2019. Pages 7 through 8. And they're available at the www.justice.gov. And that's where I'm headed. So. No, don't go. I need to know more now. I don't know more now. I listened to another channel last hour. Thanks. You guys, do you understand this? Do you understand that? So did the wait a second. Yeah, we'll talk tomorrow. See you guys until then. Take care. Please don't go, girl. You're ruining my whole world. Tell me yours. All right, guys. Night, night. Sleep tight.